Picture Karachi in 1970, a city pulsating with nightlife, where jazz clubs, cabarets, and intellectual salons thrived alongside whispers of corruption and crime. In this dazzling world, a poet's lifeless body is found beside his unconscious lover, sparking a scandal that captivated the nation. The media painted it as a tragic love story, but beneath the headlines lay a web of secrets, blackmail, power, and possibly murder. Why has this case, over half a century later, refused to yield its truth? What forces kept it buried in Pakistan's past? Who was Mustafa Zaidi, the man at the heart of this mystery? What drove the woman beside him to the edge of death? Could Karachi's elite, with their hidden agendas, hold the key to this unresolved tragedy? Mustafa Zaidi was no ordinary poet. Born in 1930 in Allahabad, India, he migrated to Pakistan after partition and rose to prominence as a civil servant and a literary luminary. His poetry, rich with themes of love, loss, and rebellion, made him a darling of Karachi's intellectual circles. By 1970, at age 40, he was a deputy commissioner, a respected figure mingling with politicians, artists, and industrialists. Yet his personal life was turbulent. Married with children, Zaidi was known for his charisma and romantic entanglements. None more infamous than his affair with Shahnaz Gul. She was a striking woman in her 30s. Ambitious and magnetic, often described as a socialite with a knack for drawing attention. Some called her a muse, others a manipulator. Their relationship was a public spectacle, fueled by Zaidi's obsessive devotion and Gul's enigmatic allure. Rumors swirled that Zaidi, unable to bear the thought of losing her, had once intercepted her at Karachi's airport to prevent her from leaving for London, a desperate act that hinted at the intensity of their bond. The city's elite watched their drama unfold, but no one anticipated the tragedy it would spawn. On the night of October 12, 1970, Karachi's elite circles were rocked by a grim discovery. In Zaidi's upscale home in the Pex area, police found the poet dead, slumped in a chair, with Shahnaz Gul unconscious nearby. The scene was chaotic: empty bottles, scattered papers, and an air of disarray. Initial reports suggested a double suicide attempt, a lover's pact gone wrong. But the details didn't add up. Zaidi's body showed no clear signs of violence, yet the presence of mysterious flyers in his garage, containing nude photographs of Gul, pointed to something sinister. These flyers, allegedly meant for distribution, suggested blackmail or revenge, casting a shadow over the narrative of a simple romantic tragedy. The house bore no signs of forced entry, ruling out a straightforward intruder theory. Neighbors reported hearing no disturbances, but the media, already in a frenzy, speculated wildly. Was it a murder staged as a suicide? Did Gul attempt to kill Zaidi and then herself? Or was a third party involved, someone with the power to orchestrate such a scene? The crime scene, mishandled in the rush of reporters and curious onlookers, became a puzzle with missing pieces. The investigation that followed was a mess, hampered by the era's limited forensic capabilities and the overwhelming media circus. Karachi's police, under pressure from the public and influential figures, scrambled to piece together the events. Shahnaz Gul, who survived after being rushed to the hospital, became the focal point. Her statements were vague, possibly due to trauma or deliberate obfuscation. She claimed little memory of the night, suggesting she and Zaidi had been drinking heavily. Some witnesses, including Zaidi's household staff, hinted at his controlling behavior, alleging he had threatened to ruin Gul's reputation if she left him. The flyers in the garage fueled theories of blackmail. Perhaps Zaidi intended to shame Gul, or perhaps someone else used them to frame the narrative. Toxicological reports were inconclusive, unable to confirm whether poisoning, overdose, or natural causes killed Zaidi. The lack of advanced forensics meant critical evidence, like fingerprints or trace materials, was never properly analyzed. The media didn't help, painting Gul as a femme fatale and Zaidi as a tortured genius, which skewed public perception and pressured investigators to chase sensational leads rather than facts. Connections to Karachi's criminal underbelly surfaced. Zaidi's ties to powerful figures raised questions about whether he'd crossed someone influential. Yet, no solid evidence pinned the crime on any one person, leaving the case in limbo. Decades later, a startling twist emerged when journalists Saba Imshiz and Tuba Masood revisited the case in their podcast, Crime Stories of Pakistan. Their research, detailed in a 2020 episode, uncovered layers the original investigation missed. They found that Zaidi's death wasn't just a personal tragedy, but possibly linked to Karachi's darker current syndicates, corrupt officials, and elite power plays. The flyers suggested a motive beyond a lover's quarrel. Was Zaidi targeted for his connections, perhaps knowing too much about someone powerful? Or was Gul, desperate to escape his control, manipulated by a third party? The podcast revealed inconsistencies, like unexamined witnesses and ignored leads about Zaidi's financial troubles and political ties. One chilling theory pointed to a syndicate's involvement, using the scandal to distract from larger crimes. The hosts also noted how Gul's vilification by the media, calling her a homewrecker, or worse, obscured her side of the story. Was she a victim of Zaidi's obsession, or did she play a more active role? This twist rekindled public interest, but the case's age and lost evidence made answers elusive. The court proceedings in 1971 were a spectacle, drawing crowds and headlines. Shahnaz Gul faced intense scrutiny, with prosecutors exploring theories of murder, manslaughter, or a failed double suicide. The defense argued Zaidi's death could have been self-inflicted, pointing to his emotional volatility and the lack of direct evidence against Gul. Witnesses, including friends and staff, offered conflicting accounts. Some painted Zaidi as possessive, others Gul as calculating. The flyers were a focal point, but their origin remained unclear. Were they Zaidi's doing, Gul's, or someone else's? The trial ended inconclusively, with no convictions. Public opinion, shaped by sensationalist reporting, leaned against Gul, but the court couldn't prove guilt beyond doubt. The case faded as Pakistan grappled with political upheaval, including the 1971 war and Bangladesh's separation, pushing Zaidi's death out of the spotlight. This tragedy teaches us the cost of flawed systems and unchecked narratives. The media's rush to sensationalize turned a complex case into a soap opera, sidelining evidence for gossip. The police's mishandling, common in high-profile cases of the time, let critical clues slip away. More broadly, it reveals how power dynamics in Karachi's elite circles could silence truth, protecting those with influence while leaving victims like Zaidi without justice. The case also highlights the need for modern forensics in revisiting old mysteries. Today's DNA or digital analysis could have cracked it. It's a lesson in demanding accountability, not spectacle, and in recognizing that love stories can mask darker truths. What do you believe happened that night in 1970? Could Shahnaz Gul have been framed by someone with more power than we know? Should Pakistan's cold cases be reopened with today's technology to seek justice? Share your theories and let's discuss this haunting mystery. If you're gripped by this dive into Pakistan's unsolved crimes, check out Crime Stories of Pakistan by Nazin Jihan for more chilling tales. Subscribe for updates, follow the conversation, and help shine a light on cases that deserve answers.